everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rose and today I'm going to take you through my Hoyas and how they are doing. Some are doing great, some are doing not so great, so let's have a look at them. They are my favorite at the moment and I actually ordered a few more. Whoops! Let's start with this Hoya Y Yeti that has been doing pretty well since I left it alone. Doesn't want to be touched apparently. There's a few new leaves here. Let me see if I can get them in focus. There we go. How adorable is that? And there are a few little stems that seem to decide they are not hanging plants. They are growing upwards, like this guy. It's growing up to the sky. And then there's one more here. Ooh, it's actually stuck in the hanging part of the where it's hanging from. It's not very fancy, sorry. But that just keeps growing upwards. Look at that. I don't know why, but it's adorable. And the tops of the leaves are much darker than the bottoms just because the sun, it is quite close to a south-facing window. Here's another new growth point with a few white bits on there. That looks suspicious. But the last time I treated these white bits, can you see? Hold on, I'll put my hand behind it. Here. Last time I treated these, I actually almost killed that part of the plant because I was way too rigorous with pure alcohol. And since this plant is hanging here by itself, it's not close to any other plants. I don't think it can do any harm to just see if those white dots are actually mealybugs or if they are just the fuzz that starts on any new Hoya leaves. Before we move on, I wanted to show you this little corner. There is, oh, what is in front? There is a new point of growth as well here. So yay! May have just heard that. I don't know. But that's doing pretty well. I actually recently turned it around. It was hanging like this, so it looks nice and full. But I want both sides of the plant to be full, so I turned it around so that this side gets some sun as well. So that's my Hoya Y Yeti. Then down here next to my beautiful Vicky baby, we have my Hoya cuttings that are in plastic baggies to try and save them. Some are doing horrible, but some are okay. This is the Hoya Mathilde. I took two cuttings of this one. And one I put in soil right away in this method, and the other one I put in water. And the one in soil started to grow really quickly, and the one in water took a lot longer. So this one now is in soil and a plastic baggie as well. But I don't see much happening since I moved it in here. So it needs to transition to soil, which is a bit sad. I'll show you the other one that's doing really well. Over here, we've got Croniana cuttings. This is not doing very well. That's why it's open right now. The leaves look super dried out. As you can see, they're super floppy, not strong. And I was hoping it would root, but it seems to not be rooting right now. Luckily, I took several pots of cuttings of this plant, and the other ones are doing much better. But I don't know what to do to get this plant to be happy again. It was looking like there was too much humidity. That's why I opened the bag. But it might actually want some humidity for those leaves to even take up some moisture. So I'm going to close it and then open the other one so you can see. All right, that's better. Now I can easily show you. Here is another Croniana cutting. That looks much healthier. As you can see, the leaves are green and a little bit more if I squeeze into them. You can't even fold them. So they have taken up moisture. So there must be some roots happening. You can actually see a few roots over there. This is what I expected to happen because actually this plant had a lot of aerial roots, adventitious roots. So I figured it would root quite easily. It's just that one part that didn't. And there is another little root. It's hard to focus because it needs to be quite close. But yeah, this one is doing well. And the one next to it is the original plant. It looks a little bit fungusy. Can you see that? I don't know. But that also seems to be doing well. Again, the leaves are solid and adorable. I love these little, I don't know what you call them, but the little patterns. That's also why I really want a lacunosa. Look at that. So cute. I love it. Still looks a little bit oily because I treated this with neem oil a while back when I got it. But this seems to be recovering quite well. It is sitting on a heat mat that is off currently, but if it gets too cold at night, I switch it on to help the roots activate. And then this is the last Croniana cutting that I took. It was such a big plant that I now have 3 pots, but I will combine them once they start rooting, once they start doing well. And again, this, I can't even fold it at all, so there must be some way, some new roots, so that the plant can take up moisture. And you can actually see a root here. Can you see that? Over there. So that's a good sign. I'm happy about that because I love the shape of these leaves. Let's see. The gift that I got. This is the Hoya cinnamomifolia, or what's left of it. I did give a cutting to a friend, so it had 3 leaves left. It now has 1 leaf that's a little bit yellow, but it is kind of okay looking. And the roots, I hope it's rooting under there. I can't really see, but at least it seems to like the humidity on the stem. So I close this like this and I keep the leaf out because the other leaves didn't seem to like the humidity, so they died off, or maybe just because they weren't happy. But so sometimes I leave only the roots in the humidity and sometimes the whole plant. That's just something that I made up. I don't know if that's actual something. This is a cutting of the Bertoni Eye that I got from my friend Ronya. And although her plant is not doing very well, this cutting seems to have recovered. The leaves are a little bit thinner, so there you can bend them. But when I got this, at first it was looking really floppy and yellow. And now it's, ooh, I actually see a new growth point. Ha! Sorry, finish your sentence first. So it's starting to look much healthier, and I guess it has created some roots because otherwise the leaves wouldn't have a way to take up that moisture. But look over here, there is a new growth point. So I hope this little baby does well. So that's very exciting because the other plant wasn't doing well and the cutting seems to survive. And this gets beautiful red leaves once it gets a little bit sun stressed. So that's really awesome. And there's some more roots on this little edge. So I guess the cuttings saved the day. You may notice that the Croniana Eskimo is not in there because it's dead. I took cuttings off it when I noticed that the roots were rotten, but still all the cuttings didn't root. They rotted before they could root and the whole plant just died. But luckily, the friend that I got the other cutting from, the Bertoni Eye cutting, I gave her a cutting of the Croniana Eskimo, and hers is doing really well. She actually just sent me a few photos, and sorry, my voice. She actually has several new leaves and new growth points, so that's super exciting. We're rescuing these plants through cuttings that we shared with others. It's always a good thing. And then moving over to here, this is my beautiful Hoya species that is not yet identified, purely because it hasn't bloomed yet where I got it from. So we can guess what it is, but we will not know until they know. It is awesome looking. It actually put out this whole new leaf for me, but it is a little bit wonky, as you can see. Normal leaves have a little point, but the point got probably damaged in growing out. And then the next point of growth is super... Oh, actually, it's finally doing something. It wasn't doing much for the longest of time, so I got a little bit impatient. But there you go. Can you see? That's a new baby leaf coming out. It seems to like to only grow one side at a time. The other leaf fell off. Oh, this is good. But it's finally doing something. And then there was an activated node over here as well, but that seems to have stopped growing. And there is an activated node in this edge corner thingy. It's hard to see because there's lots of perlite bulbs that look exactly the same, but that's activated, and that seems to be a little bit more happy than it was before. Let's see if we can get some sunlight in there. There we go. So I hope this will grow into a bigger plant. Again, Ronya has the same cutting, the girl from this plant, and hers is doing quite well. She's got several new leaves. So I hope that this will do good for me as well. I'm going to turn it back into the sunlight because it seems to like sunlight. Look at how beautiful that leaf is. So cool. I just realized I skipped one of my favorite ones. This here is my little Hoya Vata or Bertoni Eye or whatever you want to call it from Polinoura succulents. Shirley Eye, that's the plant. No, Polinoura succulents. And this was labeled a Bertoni Eye with 2 eyes at the end, but he said it's the same as a Vata. Now I know that in the US there's a lot of stuff happening about the label of this plant. I don't honestly really care as long as it's growing. So don't start correcting me in the comments. As you can see, hopefully there is 2 or even 3 new growth points. I don't look at this guy very much because I kept killing it. But this is a new leaf and this is a new leaf. And you can start to see the nice edges of more purple color from sun damage. And then below here, can we get the right lighting on that? There we go. Is a little baby leaf and a growth point. And then over there on the right side is a little growth point as well. And then on the corner of there is another growth point. So it seems to be doing well. It really, really likes humidity in my care. Every time I pull it out of the plastic baggie, it just dies back or stops growing. And every time I put it into a plastic bag on the heat mat or in the sunlight, so it's nice and warm, it grows much more. So I think they like warmth and or humidity. But this is very adorable, that new leaf. Look at that. That deserves a little photo. Ooh. I try to not touch new growth as much as I can, but I wanted to show you because it's adorable. Here, that is currently in its own little terrarium kind of thing, is Ollie, my Hoya Vata, because it was not doing well. Let me just open this for you. Probably will enjoy a bit of fresh air. I'm not sure if this is the right way to go with the terrarium-like setting, but the leaves have started to really show a lot of stress, either sunburn, as a lot of you suggested, or it could also be a bacterial or something else infection. And as you can see, that does not look healthy. So at first I put it in my normal terrarium, but then Alessia, I keep saying Alessia, sorry babe, told me that it could be an infection and it could actually spread to my other plants. So, of course, quickly I took it out and I wanted to give it some humidity because I've learned that most of my plants, if they are in stress, they like humidity to recover. Even though Alessia didn't agree with me on this, she said it's probably okay to let it air out. So I'm going to open this pot up for a few hours now. There's new growth on that. I love the little blobs of water that I sprayed on there. I hope these new leaves will still open up because they are adorable. Try to get them in focus for you. And these other bigger ones are also the new leaves. So all the new leaves have gotten this damage, the most of the damage. So I'm gonna let this sit, I guess, here where it's a little bit less bright and also let it air out a little bit for the humidity. But we'll see. I'll keep you up to date on how that goes. It's a bit sad. Ollie, please do well. I guess after touching this, I have to go wash my hands to be sure that I don't spread anything. The leaves are quite solid, so that's good. So let's move over to this shelf here. I put this new grow light in a while back, as you may have seen in a video. This is from Mars Hydro, and it puts out a ton of light. And some of my Hoyas and Dischidias, I count Dischidias as Hoya, are doing quite well here. So let's have a look. This is my Dischidia ovata. I think I recently showed you this, but it's putting out new growth that is kind of brown compared to normal green. I guess it's because of this amazing amount of light. And really, it's been growing quite fast since I put it here with the new light. Because look, I don't think you can see that because my phone adjusted, but it is super bright and it actually also puts out a little bit of warmth, which is nice. So these leaves have grown. See them, the babies? Here's a few more babies that I'm trying to keep off the side because they keep squishing themselves into, that's better, into the side of the pot, which is not good for their growth, of course. There's a few more here. These are actually all new, since like the little ones that were brown have been here for about a week, but all these new points are new. Well, obviously new points. And even here, look, in that little armpit of this plant is another new growth. So that seems to be quite happy. I see some new roots as well. It's probably too small to show you everything, but I mean, you can see that new leaf, right? Adorable little stick. So that's really exciting. I'm very happy that this plant is finally doing well. And I hope it grows to be nice and full and becomes a nice hanging plant. Then if we go over here, let's do this one first. This is my Hoya Courtesy Eye. I know it doesn't look like much. Actually, a few days ago, I was cleaning out the plants here that were kind of dead or dried out. So I threw away my Hoya Carnosa Crimson Princess that was completely dried out, and the Dischidia milnai cutting that I had. And I was about to throw this one out. Can we focus on the plant, please? Hello? Nah, apparently not. It's too close. But I'll show you. While I was throwing this little guy out, I noticed that in the edge there on the right leaf corner, I don't know if you can see because there's soil everywhere, but there is a new growth point on it. I thought it was completely dead, but it's not. I hope you can see. I can't zoom in more, but I can zoom in on my computer, so I tried to do this with editing. So this gets to stay. It lives here now in a smaller pot with lots of light, but also I added some humidity with this pot of water just to make sure it doesn't dry out again. And then, oh, I see lots of new growth on my plants. I'm tempted to also show you that, but no. Hoyas today. This is my Hoya Mathilde that I put in soil and a plastic bag right away. And same as with the Dischidia, it keeps growing up against the side of the pot. So I put that little stick underneath. And that actually seems to make a difference, because you can see the leaves below there are a little bit stunted, but then the new leaves are a lot bigger. Can you see the little ones? I don't think they're gonna properly develop, but we can try to rescue them. So that's been doing quite well. Oh, there's a new growth point here as well. I need to get some more sticks because look, there is a new leaf growing. Why does it grow so close to the edge of the pot? I guess that's my fault for potting it this way. But yeah, this is doing well. It seems to love the new light. Look at how fluffy, hairy the new leaves are. That's adorable. I'm very excited to see this grow more and more. And actually, since I put this underneath the light, I don't know if you heard me talking about this, but these were the original leaves and they're completely round. So I thought that's what it looks like. And then it came out with these longer pointy leaves, which I didn't like very much. But now the leaves have started to turn a little bit more rounded again. And I'm excited about that because I prefer the rounded leaves. I don't know if that's just because the leaves are maturing, or maybe it has something to do with the light that I'm giving it right now. Let me just get a little stick to help that part to grow, and then we'll continue our tour. There we go. I moved it slightly away from the side of the pot so the new leaves have space. Go back into your warm corner with your friends. And then this is my Hoya Polinoura. It's a pretty full pot, as you can see, but as most Hoya Polinoura here in the Netherlands, they have these strange markings that I'm still not sure if they are a kind of virus, maybe mosaic virus, or if they are, let me just hang it back. Ooh, there we go. If it is too much light, some people have said it might be too much light, and some people say it might be a pest or even a malnutrition. So it can be a lot of different things. It doesn't look very pretty because of that, But luckily, so far, the new leaves are doing pretty well. I have my bright grow light right next to me, so you can't see it very well, but here are some of the new leaves. This guy has, as I counted a while back, 21 peduncles, although I see now, if you can see that here underneath this leaf, they are turning yellow, so that means it's probably gonna drop that one. And I saw a yellowing one here as well. So that's 2 that bite the dust. I have 19 left. But yeah, I think I showed you this in a previous video, in my haul video. They're just peduncles underneath all of the new leaves. And there are actually quite a few new growth points as well. I'm trying to be very careful because they are so fragile. But there are, of course I can't find them when I'm filming this. Huh. Where are you guys? Hello? Hello? So more new leaves. Very adorable. Here's an actual still happy peduncle. Here are some more new leaves growing out from under there. And these leaves, when they are healthy, are super beautiful. You can't even see it. Let me bring it a little bit closer to the light, just to show you better. Ooh, but direct sunlight. I heard these plants are really fussy, so I'm trying to not move it at all. I am moving it for you though, because you want to see it. There we go. Now you can see the nice veining and the weird spots. I don't know what's happening with that. Where are the other new leaves here? How pretty. I don't really know what's happening with this guy yet, just because it's been in my care for only a few weeks. But I'm hoping that the new leaves don't continue to have these weird spots and that they become pretty and normal, like these guys over here. So yeah, pretty happy with this one. I actually found this for €9 in a garden center for such a full pot. I think that's pretty amazing. I love finding plants like this in regular garden centers. I don't have that many Hoya yet, but my last one is in here, my Hoya Globulosa. The terrarium has been looking awesomely humid. The natural the natural humidity has been quite low in my house. Like it's 47 in my windowsill right now, but it was up down to 40 yesterday, which is a little bit too low. And luckily in here, I figured out to use my little donut that you can see here to up the humidity. I'm actually going to switch it off because it's been going for a few hours, and as you can see, there's a lot of humidity in there now. Look at the mist coming out. I hope you can see that. Oh, it's really coming out. Okay, let me show you my last Hoya. In this beautiful misty forest of awesome plants lives, oh my god, you can actually see the mist coming out. Look at that, it's really, really misty. Is living my Hoya Globulosa. I think I have to get it out to show you. I'll just move my anthuriums to the side. Here it is. Ooh, it's looking so juicy. I guess I can put that on my leg. It's okay, my leggings are always covered in soil anyway. So this is Hoya Globulosa. Look at those beautiful veiny leaves. This may have an activated node here, but it does definitely have an activated node here. Let's turn that around for better light. Why do you want to focus on leckables instead of plants? So there is an activated node. It hasn't done much more than just node activation, but here is one more, two more, three, more growth points. Keeps flopping over. And I did repot this as well, just to make sure that it is okay like the other plants had root rot, so wanted to make sure that this is okay. This old leaf is yellow, but that's okay. It's the oldest one. I'm just very, very excited to see what comes out of this one. It's pretty hairy, and you can see that even more with this humidity so high. So I'm wondering if I should slowly start to move this out of the greenhouse, out of the terrarium, because at first it was between like 50 and 99 in here during the day. It would go down all the way to 50, but that's why I put the little donut in. And as you probably can't see because two of the things have given up, but it's 97 humidity right now. And I don't know if that's too much for this Hoya, if I should move it out. What do you think? Please let me know in the comments below. For now, I'm just gonna move it back in here because it's used to living in here. Go that way. That's the little donut. As you can see, all the plants are drenched. I like to keep the edges open of the terrarium just to give it a little bit of airing, but it also has this. So there's always a little bit of aeration possible. And that's it. That's all my Hoyas. That's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If there is any other type of plant that you would like an update from, I'm thinking about doing this, but for my alocasia or my philodendron or anthurium, now that I have 4. Woo! So let me know what you would like to see. Take care of yourself, and I hope to see you in the next video. Ooh, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Bye!